Good morning. Welcome to the North Shore Unitarian Church, where our mission is to empower people to live with greater depth, meaning, and purpose. My name is Marcia Stevenson, and I'm the president of your Board of Trustees this year. What I love about this community is the many ways our mission is lived out in a single weekend. Under this roof, in the span of 24 hours, we said goodbye to one of our founders in a memorial service for Doris Noel. Others attended a quiet Saturday evening wedding here. And this morning, here we all are, all ages, gathered for the first full service of our church year with Reverend Barbara. People are downstairs preparing a harvest of corn for our lunch. And tonight, with Saturday's Rise for the Climate Day of Action on our minds, many of us may return to this building at 7 for a session sponsored by local environmental activists. This meeting will feature First Nations speakers, a book launch by author Kevin Tate, and a powerful protest song by Bill Henderson. See Karen Funt or check the poster in the downstairs hall for details. Please note the announcements in your order of service and on the screen. And I want to wait for everybody to listen to this part. Please do join me on September 15th for our Back to the Future workshop with Reverend Stephen Jonason. How many days away is September 15th? It's this Saturday. Today is my last chance to announce this rare opportunity to sit down with one of the most senior consultants in our denomination. Not only will he help us talk about change, but he's also a great storyteller, and he's funny. Tomorrow is the deadline to reserve your lunch with the caterer. Thank you to the 30 people who had already registered online the last time I checked this morning, but it's not too late. I will be standing on the landing of the staircase after the service. Janny has prepared an old-fashioned paper sign-up sheet, and I will help you there. Or if you need to leave early, you may go home and you can click the links yourself, either in the Friday bulletin or by downloading your newsletter, which is also very good reading. Now, please silence your phones and settle in. I'd like to extend a special warm welcome to our visitors today. If you'd like to learn more about us, please sign in with your contact information on the iPad in the foyer. If you have any questions about our congregation or our Unitarian tradition, we're all eager to talk to you. But on point today are Connections Coordinator Ariel and anyone wearing a greeter button. In this community, we celebrate people from all walks of life. No matter how you make your living or how you experience the sacred, no matter who you are or who you love, we hope you feel welcome here. This is a time of turning for us. And I'd like to end with a passage from our own hymnal written by T.S. Eliot. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Thank you.
Off you go. Wander back into your lovely space. Good morning, everyone. Aren't they wonderful? Oh my goodness. And what an awesome band. Yay, Ross, huzzah. And Paul was at the piano earlier, and of course Toby is super wonderful. Carrie, and my husband. Pretty damn good harmonica player, isn't he? Yeah. Where'd he go? He's hiding over there. Well, good morning, everyone. If you haven't met me, I'm Reverend Barbara. You can call me Barbara. You can call me Reverend Barbara. Or hey, you, whatever works for you. I'm really glad to be here. A lot of you I've met, some of you I haven't met, and I look forward to getting to know you better. But I mainly this morning want to start by just saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year. This is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, and for those of us who either come from a Jewish background, are friends of people who come from a Jewish background, or just know enough about Rosh Hashanah, know that it's a time to celebrate the beginning of the new year and to look back on the old and to look forward with joy. And so that's what we're going to be doing this morning, is all of those things. But I think it's important that we just take a moment and turn and greet one another. Perhaps a Happy New Year, perhaps a hello, but just say hello and Happy New Year to each other. Hello, Happy New Year. Let us come back. Let us come back. Let us come back. And let us come back. Let us come back now to this wonderful place of beginnings, to this wonderful place where our hearts are held and our spirits are nurtured. Deep breath. Can we take a moment just to breathe? Just to be. It is good indeed to be together.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Pat Mayer, for those of you who don't know me. When I was growing up, I went to the Montreal High School for Girls for 4 years. At that time, several of my classmates were daughters of people who had emigrated from war-torn Eastern Europe. So these young girls were quite different from the rest of us. For one thing, they had to learn our language and our culture, as well as Latin and history and math. A few times each year, there would be an assembly in the auditorium for the whole school. These same young girls would arrive on stage wearing special headdresses and costumes representing the villages and towns where they'd been born. They would then perform a variety of special dances that they'd learned as children, with ribbons and flowers and skirts flying. It was wonderful to watch. I loved it. But I couldn't help wondering, what was the purpose behind these assemblies? What was the reason? I didn't have a special costume. I didn't have a special dance. When I was much older, it dawned on me that the principal and teachers were wise enough to show us that being different could be seen in a new light and actually be attractive and really quite delicious. So I dedicate the lighting of this chalice to those who have the beauty of vision when most of us don't, and to the wisdom to share that vision, often perhaps when it's just what we want. I like this flame. Okay, I'll come back to the mic. We kindle this flame as a symbol of our gathering. May the warmth of sharing bring us peace.
I do remember being a kid in Unitarian Sunday school, and I was a lot like those kids. It's great. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. And we do hold each other in our love as we come and as we go. So as we gather now to center a bit in some time of prayer or reflection, some quiet, some music, some reminders of this time, this precious time we have together, this time of transition. So I invite you now, if you choose, to join with me in a time of prayer. Gracious One whom we call by many names, on this day of gathering in, we begin by expressing our gratitude for all that we have been given, all the blessings of children and music, of community, and today of rain after a long, dry summer. This beautiful world calls us to be better people. And so we pray for courage, for heart, that we can find in our bodies and in our spirits so that we may move through the world making a difference, modeling for our children what is possible, holding each other to account, but also being gentle when we fail, which we will. We hold in our hearts all those who are struggling today, people whose hearts are broken, people who have no place to live, people who are hungry. If there are people in your life that you wish to call into this great circle, to be held in love in this place, I invite you to bring them first into your heart, and then into your mind, and then onto your lips. I invite you to speak their names as I light this candle now. May the names of those we have spoken and the names that no one knows be held and known in this place. And I light this, our justice candle, for all those who seek to lead in our world, knowing that it is hard to be a leader. But may the leaders among us and the leaders in our nation and in our world know that there is a greater vision that they may move toward, a vision of hope, a vision of love, and a vision of justice. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference.
For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible.
For each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time our greed has blinded us to the needs of others.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For the selfishness that sets us apart and alone.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For losing sight of our unity.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For these and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Amen, and blessed be. I so love that beautiful litany written by my friend and colleague, Robbie Eller Isaacs. Like me, like some of you, like all of our kids here, Robbie was raised Unitarian Universalist. But unlike me, his parents came to our faith through Judaism. Robbie brings a rabbi's sensibility to his work, and I deeply value his perspective on forgiveness and moving forward. And I love that the litany reminds us that we can, even after hard and difficult times, begin again in love. As most of you know by now, I have been a minister for a very long time, over half my life, beginning my career 33 years ago in 1985. And if I've learned anything during these many years, it is this: time is both cyclical and linear. Cyclical and linear. Linear time, of course, is the reality of our lives. We move forward in only one direction from one significant event to another, from 1985 to now. And yet, time is also cyclical. Year after year, I have returned to some version of this exact place where I am today, in front of a congregation on the first Sunday of the church year. Once again, the leaves are turning from green to yellow, brown, and red. Once again, the rains have come. Once again, children return to school with new books and pencils, and these days, of course, with tablets and phones. Once again, people like you return to church to be reminded of your best selves, to mourn or to celebrate, to wonder and to hope. Well, I love this linear and cyclical nature of time. I find it allows me to be less afraid of time's passage. Yes, I know that I'm not getting any younger, and neither are any of you. But I also know that the seasons will continue to turn, and the passage of time will be marked with stories, memories, and rituals, whether we are here or not. And I find that comforting. As I stand before you today, I am aware that many of us are in need of comfort. A few short months ago, you had to say goodbye to your beloved co-ministers, Marcus and Emily Hartleaf. You didn't want them to go, but for their health and well-being, you said goodbye with grace. But the pain still lingers. Last spring, you expected to come here today on this welcome in-gathering Sunday to find them before you with their youth and their energy and their hope. And now you have me. And we, together, have to figure out how we're going to move forward. I've had a lot of conversations since I first arrived here in June about who you are as a congregation and what you want going forward. Even as I've listened to the grief spilling out from your hearts at what you have lost, I've also encountered incredible strength and resilience. Yes, you said to me, we are sad, but we are also able to move forward. We must move forward. And so I ask all of us today, how shall we move forward? Can we, as the season turns and the new year unfolds, begin again in love? As I was preparing for this service, I read through the material that the Soul Matters team sent out on this month's theme, which is vision. And one of the pieces they sent out touched me in particular. It's by Margaret Wheatley, an author that I have learned to respect and appreciate very much. So listen to her wise words from a poem she calls Turning to One Another, which is very much a part of the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur theme, is all about turning. Margaret Wheatley writes, "There is no power greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Ask what's possible, not what's wrong. Keep asking. Notice what you care about. Assume that many others share your dreams. Be brave enough to start a conversation that matters. Talk to people you know. Talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you never talk to. Be intrigued by the differences you hear. Expect to be surprised. Treasure curiosity more than certainty. Invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert on something. Know that creative solutions come from new connections. Remember, you don't fear people whose story you know. Real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change your world. Rely on human goodness. Stay together." Oh, I love this, don't you? It just is so true. Let me unpack a few lines for us, as I think they might be helpful as we envision the future, as we begin again in love. I love that she begins with these words, ask what's possible, not what's wrong. When we're struggling with loss, asking what's wrong is so easy to do. And we know what's wrong. What we had hoped for has not materialized. What we thought was possible won't be. Now, I understand this desire to ask what's wrong. I am a first-class worrywart. Natural, born in me. Ask Jocko, he'll tell you. I can always figure out what's not working. But when I ask what's possible, I'm far more likely to find a direction forward. Looking backward can teach us things, but it can also mire us in might-have-beens. Asking what's possible helps us imagine a future and move toward it. So I ask you, what's possible here? What's possible here? Who do you want to be as a person? Who do you want to be as a congregation? I love how Margaret Wheatley helps us think this through. She suggests that we notice what we care about and then assume that many others share our dreams. She encourages us to be brave enough to start a conversation that matters. What might such a conversation look like? I think it begins with asking each other what this church really means to you. And to you, to you, to you, to you. What does this church mean to you? You may discover that you have very different visions of what you want this congregation to be. You may discover that you have similar ideas about what you must do to move boldly into the future. But you can't know unless you ask, unless you talk to each other and share your ideas, your vision. And as your minister this year, a part of my job is to listen to those conversations. And sometimes they're one-on-one, sometimes I'm just leaning in and hearing you talk to each other. Since I arrived here a few months ago, I've heard some of you express your hopes and dreams for this congregation, and thank you for sharing that with me. This is some of what I've heard. You want ministry that deepens your spirits and challenges your assumptions. You want your kids and youth to find meaning and hope in a difficult time. You want a building that is accessible to people of all abilities. You want to engage with your community, your nation, and your world out of a place of justice and compassion. And you want to be the best people you can possibly be, even though you know you'll never be perfect. All of these dreams are possible. And yet we all know that dreams don't come true unless we work toward making them so. I love Margaret Wheatley's reminder that creative solutions come from new connections. So what new connections might you make this year? Are you someone who always hangs out with the elders? Go ask a teenager what's going on in their world. Are you a parent who generally only talks to the other parents? Go find a middle-aged single person and ask them what's up with their world. Are you someone who comes to church primarily for social justice issues? Well, talk to someone for whom the music and the worship is central and ask them why. Talk to each other, my friends. Find out what you believe and share. It's okay to be different. It's a big part of what makes this congregation strong. Don't assume that everyone has the same beliefs that you have. They don't. I know this. You know this. And it's okay. In fact, it's fabulous. As Margaret Wheatley says, real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change your world. Over the course of this new year, I encourage you to talk deeply with each other and listen to what you hear. Share your grief, yes, but also your stories of when the church went through a hard time and found a way forward. Share your concerns, yes, but also stories of moments of joy and celebration that got you through the challenges. Share your vision, yes, but also your ideas about how to fulfill the dreams that are bubbling up. Margaret Wheatley suggests that we invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert on something. Know that creative solutions come from new connections. I urge you to make those connections going forward. I mean, look around you. There's so much talent here, so much good energy, so much spiritual depth. If you stay together and trust that together you see more than you can see alone, I am absolutely certain that you will move forward with vision and with hope. And I know it won't always be easy. But I want to assure you that I will be here with you on the journey at least as much as I am able. Working only half-time, and when I'm not here, I'm in the States where I live, has a lot of challenges. I know that. And a long plan for a trip to England that Jocko and I are leaving on Wednesday, means I won't be back here with you until the middle of October. But next weekend and the Sunday after, you will have the wonderful Stefan Jonason here with you. And Marcia, you're absolutely right. Stefan is fabulous. He will help you focus on growth and change. You will have fun with him. He's going to do great services 2 Sundays. Make a commitment. Find Marcia. She's going to have that, old-fashioned hard copy thing for you to sign up for. If you still have handwriting left, do any of us still know how to do that? I imagine Marcia was a school teacher. She can probably write for you if you need her to. She'll be there ready for you. You won't regret coming. It will be a great time. But when I am here with you, I promise that I will be as present as I am able. I hope we can grow in our affection for each other, even as I am absolutely certain that you will not like everything I'm going to do. I am not here to make you happy. I'm going to say that again, Carrie, just for you. I am not here to make you happy. I'm 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 not here. That's not my job. I am here to call you to be your best selves. For I believe, I know, I have experienced our faith as a saving faith. This church can save your life. This church has saved people's lives. This church can do that. You can do that. Do not take this faith lightly. It matters what we believe. It matters that we are here. It matters, my friends. It matters. But you have to bring your whole self. And you have to let others do the same. I believe that the purpose of the religious community is to help us become who we are truly meant to be. Over 30 years in ministry and a lifetime in this faith has taught me that. The church is here to call us to be our best selves and to help us become who we are truly meant to be. So how will you be coming forward? How will you be here? How will you offer yourself in service to this vision, to this great vision that our faith puts before us to build a world of peace and justice, of unity and love? How will you listen and learn from people who are different from you? How will you cross borders and see what's possible from another person's perspective? How will you care deeply for someone who angers or annoys you? How will you make a difference in your world through your participation in this congregation? I hope you will ask and answer these questions throughout the year. talk to each other from a place of depth, meaning, and purpose, and listen with open hearts, minds, and spirits. Make time in your busy lives, and I know your lives are busy, I know, but make time to come here. Come here. Be a part of something greater than you can be alone. Come willing to be changed. Do your part to build a more just and beautiful world. The wonder of cyclical time is that each year we have the capacity to begin again. If we commit to do so with love as our guide, I am confident that a year from now, when we're back in this space, saying Happy New Year again to each other, we will look back and smile and say, we had a vision to move forward with love. And you know what? We did so. And our church is stronger than ever. I have faith in you, my friends. I have faith in you. Together we will rise again with hope and joy. Together we will build a better world. Amen. And blessed be.